Well, Christmas is done and we're coming up on the end of the year. So on this episode of Carnage, we're going to talk about what an amazing year 2024 has been and what's coming up in 2025. Dibs the couch. Oh, couch slide. Okay, well, 2024 has been a hell of a year. Maddie, you're going to come and join me on this side of the camera? That's not going to be totally weird at all, is it?
Super weird. Where's my hair and makeup?
I know. Where's mine? It's been like that all year. So yeah, 2024, been a big year, and well, look where we started, or look where we finished up. We finished up with destroying the engine in Turbo Taxi, and then dynoing, yes, and then dynoing the Lexon. So we finished up right at the end of December with had 40,000 views on it. It's a good
Pretty
video.
Good. Right.
So we made 624 horsepower with a Lexon, and that's how we finished up 2023, just in the lead up to Summernats. And then of course, Summernats always takes up a chunk of the start of our year. Summernats.
Very time consuming.
Talk us through your Summernats, mate.
Yeah, so Summernats for us, for the video crew, is pretty full on. So kind of, it's differed the last few years, but usually it's myself and maybe Sean McCann, our other videographer. And we pretty much hit the ground running. We get there and we start filming. We literally roll up in our Ranger or whatever it is, jump out, start filming, and it doesn't stop for 4, 5 6
days minimum. Plus, you know, let's face it, it's always that Monday that after that you're like, oh, we've still got to put it out another video, and you know, the event's over, and we always know that the last video is not going to get as many views because this weird thing that happens during Summernats, like bizarre. You get amazing amount of views during Summernats, and you can actually pick the time. At 5 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, the views just tank. Summernats is finished, and yet the people stop watching, yet the people are all away from Summernats. They're all scattered all over the world, but they stop watching the moment Summernats finishes.
Yep.
It's bizarre.
It's as soon as the event ends in real time, people just go, oh, I'm done with it now. It's bizarre, even though like there's a whole day worth of footage to watch. They're just done with it. It's bizarre.
It is really weird.
Yeah, it's a pretty full-on week, but it's good. I know there's been a few nights where Gus, a lot of you will know and seen, or Sean and I, we're looking at the clock and it's 4 a.m. and we're still trying to pump out the video for 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So then we can get back to the showgrounds and continue on for another day.
That's right. So yeah, we had some good videos in there too. The Summernats, it did quite well.
It's always a good week.
Yeah, we always do good on that. So we come back from Summernats, and then obviously we had the Lexon at Summernats, and it went really well. Like, it got a lot of looks but funny looks. A lot of people were like, why is this here? So we're there in a plain white Toyota wagon. It's right there behind us, you know, because we can't just take the bonnet off and cruise around with no bonnet. They don't know that it has a Toyota V8 with a turbo on it. Word got around, and some people obviously knew from watching, you know, Carnage and that sort of thing. They didn't know that we just made 620 horsepower back here at Max Performance, and then obviously we go to Summernats and we made, what was it, 712 horsepower on the dyno and Horsepower Heroes.
More there than here.
Yeah.
Which is surprising.
It is
surprising. It was so hot and humid. We expected it to do nowhere near as
we
well
always
as it
seem to
did
do pretty well on the Summernats dyno. I don't know.
Good.
I'm not saying it's a happy dyno, but we're pretty happy. So yeah, it was a really good result. It was really, you know, like, to do that was brilliant. And then we led out the Super Cruise, which again was bizarre. Like, everyone's like, yep, it's the Street Machine Summernats. They get it. It's the Street Machine car. But it's also weird seeing a plain white Toyota wagon leading the Super Cruise, followed by the best cars in the country, like the top street machines in the country, and we're there in a plain white wagon. It was cool actually running into Hurt from Hoonigan. Yeah, he loved the wagon.
He thought it was cool.
Yeah, he really loves 1UZs, or 1UZs as they call it. Yeah. Americans love 1UZs. Yeah. And yeah, him and it was the other guy that was with him, Zach. Like, you know, we were talking about how I made 700 of the tyres, and, you know, Zach was like, oh, so what have you done to it? And I'm like, no, it's a stock bottom end. And Zach's going, there's no way. And Hertz though, yeah, dude, totally. They'll do that on a stock bottom end. And like Zach was like shocked. I wish actually we'd hooked up with those guys a little bit more. We thought their schedule was super busy and that they had no time. And it turned out they didn't actually have much of a schedule booked. They had more free time than we thought.
Oh, well.
I would have loved to have taken Hurt for a ride in that thing because, yeah, he really dug it. He thought it was very cool. Yeah. And we'd love it too. We think it's really cool as well.
It's a cool wagon.
Yeah.
It was good on the Super Cruise because you went around, stuck it in neutral a few times, gave it a rev, and a few people on the fence looking at it and they went, oh, they kind of got it then. You know, heard the noise, heard the blow-off valve.
Jesus.
We get it now.
Yeah. And then, so we come back from Summernats, we took the wagon to Calder, struggled. That was the first time we'd ever taken to the drag strip. We struggled and, yeah, had trouble getting it up on boost. And so we only ran, we've got it written up on my note board here, it's 11.73 at 132, which, you know, wasn't fantastic. We also got some roll racing in.
Yeah.
Were you there that night, or was that?
You
were there for that.
That was cool. Yeah. That was the first time you've ever done roll racing too.
Yeah. We need to do more of the roll racing.
It was pretty cool actually. I'd never seen it before, and it's a cool atmosphere. You know. Everyone's lined up, and it's really just a head-to-head thing, isn't it? Because there's no times. It's just who's going to win. And it was I mean, the Lexon hauled us.
The Lexon loves chasing people down. So we had some fun with that, and then we also did that Valiant uncover. That was actually one of our better videos for the year too. Wasn't it? 55,000 views.
Pretty random too. That kind of came out of nowhere. It was like, hey, do you want to do this? We went, okay.
Yeah. So we got a call from these guys saying we got this old Valiant in the shed. Do you want to come and have a look and see if it'll fire up? It hadn't started in years, and legitimately we had to uncover all these plane parts off it.
So weird.
And we fired it up only shortly. We didn't, do a full fire up. They have offered it to us to do some stuff with, but there's still a lot of parts missing, and we've got to work out the whole budgetary sort of thing. Like, what are we spending? What are you spending? Whose car is it? It gets confusing. So, but yeah, that was a pretty cool video. And like I said, it was one of the better videos in terms of views that we did this year. So we should certainly, if you've got any old cars on your farm or in a shed or something you want us to come and have a poke at, fire up maybe.
Sounds good. Don't clean it.
Yeah.
Leave it there. Just send us a picture of it underneath all the junk and we'll come and do that.
Reach out and we'll come and do some videos because they seem to be very popular.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Bit of automotive archaeology.
That's it. So where'd we go from there? So we took the Lexon out, we did the V8. We diagnosed Turbo Taxi's blow up, so it turned out we torched that pretty good. I torched it pretty good. Burnt a nice big hole through the head, and so we pulled that engine right down, and then we decided to dive back into the DC Ute build because we'd sort of not given up, but we'd put the DC Ute on hold while we finished off the Lexon at the end of the year and took it to Summernats and did all that. And so we thought, we'll dive back into the whole DC Ute thing, and that occupied us for, a fair bit. So according to the board there, we did the Haltech, the wiring, the fuel system, finished building the engine and getting the engine in. So there was a fair bit involved there. So it's just a whole string of videos there of just DC Ute, DC Ute, DC Ute. And we get it. We understand that people get bored of seeing the same car, week after week. But sometimes we just got to do that because
the car's got to get built, doesn't it?
The car has to get built.
There's no little team of Oompa Loompas back there building the cars when Scotty's not on camera. It's him building it. So, and I think even though you and I have both built cars, we still underestimate how long it takes to do all the little jobs, the wiring, the plumbing, fixing broken things. Like you snap a bolt off, it can be an hour out of your day, and that's not even taking into account that when you film car building, it takes 3 times as long. Yeah, I keep stopping him and go, okay, can you just show that part in your hands now, and can you do this, and then we're going to change angles and.
And then obviously we have to stop and get the video edited. So Maddie handles all the video editing. Then we have to do a thumbnail, which sometimes requires a whole rearrangement of the workshop to do a thumbnail. Thumbnails are important on YouTube. If you don't have a good thumbnail, you're not going to get any views. So we have to devote.
We try to.
We try to.
It's the thing we like the least of it.
I know.
But we've got to do it.
But sometimes we have devoted to half a day to a thumbnail.
Oh, easy, yeah, absolutely.
Just to make sure we got a nice clean thumbnail to work with. And then from there, me and Gus went off. You got a little break for a...
I did. I can't remember where I was. I had to go somewhere else and do something else.
I think it was a weekend thing anyway, because Cres is on the Murray.
I'd say it would have been work.
Yeah. Me and Gus road tripped Dad's ute up to Cres on the Murray, and that was a lot of fun. It was good to get Dad's ute out, even though, and it's tucked up the back there at the moment. I'm going to rebuild the transmission, but the transmission was still pretty sad on that trip, but we made it there, made it back. I mean, it's only 300 k's each way. We had a carby issue. We fixed that. It was cool actually. Cruise that thing to the airport, pick Gus up, and cruise on up. I mean, people at the airport were just like, what is this noisy, smelly thing that...
Coolest airport Uber ever.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a really good weekend up at Cres on the Murray. A lot of cool cruising up there, and yeah, that was a really good trip. It's one of my favourite trips for the year, to be honest. So a lot of fun. And then we come back and we dive straight back into the Lexon again. So Lexon was all, well, we were trying to get ready for Optima at this point.
Yeah.
So we had to do the brakes. So we had to fix the brakes because the Lexon did not stop.
It was bad.
It was very bad.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Because remember, we were doing like 130 mile an hour plus at Calder, and it was just like, it would not stop.
Yeah.
I was really, like on the brakes, on the anchors hard at the end of Calder, trying to pull that thing up.
I remember you came in and it's the first time I've seen you go, nah, I'm not doing that again. Like that proper was
especially
scary.
That roll racing, yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're absolutely cooking by the end of it, and there's bugger all run off at Calder. So it's if you're not stopping, you're where you going?
Yeah, that's it.
Around the rest of the racetrack.
So we put that electric brake booster on it. That really worked well. And when we did that, we thought, hey, wow, this thing's actually going to be a thing now.
Yeah.
So I talked to Shockworks, and that all happened really quick because I'm we fixed the brakes. Oh, well, we're going to take this thing to Optima. If we're taking it to Optima, well, maybe we should be putting some suspension on this thing. So we talked to the boys at Shockworks, and they do a whole, coilover package on it.
That was literally the next day.
Yeah.
Like we did the brakes and then they hit you up and said, oh, do you want to come over? And you're like, next day, did it, brought it back. And then I think Optima was the day after.
The day after or something like that.
Quick.
Yeah, we went and got those 17s, which I've just bought some 17-inch wheels from the wreckers, and then decked them out in Nankangs. And then we went and did Optima, which was...
I missed that. I was spewing because that's my kind of thing. I'm into roundy rounds as opposed to straighty straights, and I missed out on the one roundy round of the year.
I know, that was crazy.
I was spewing. I had something else I had to go and do, but yeah, it was cool though. It did well.
Yeah. No, that was insane to run that thing around the track, and people don't even understand like what it's like to run a car like that around the track. It is not built for circuit at all, but we still finished 6th in our class. 23rd overall. So we were 6th out of 21. So we had 21 cars in the class. We were 6th, and then we come 23rd overall against some of the craziest. What the
bloody pterodactyl in here? What's going on? Get out of here, champ.
Wow, he is a big blowy. Anyway, so yeah, we did really good. That was a good result, and had a big moment where on the first full lap, I was going pretty well, but in the second full lap, the brakes, even as good as the brakes were, they just didn't have enough disc and pad surface area.
It's a big car, it's a heavy car, and it's cooking.
And we're moving, like we're doing 240 plus down the main straight, and it just went total, like I hit the brakes, and the brakes slowed me as much as they physically could, and then it went total brake fade, had no brakes, and I was still doing over 100k an hour.
Fucking brakes are gone.
and had absolutely no brakes. And I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, what am I going to do? Where is the biggest distance to a wall?
Yeah.
And I picked with the wall on the other side of the track, pointed it towards the infield. I'm still coming up on the corner at this point. Point it to the infield, hit the berm, go over the berm, lean back on the track. But at this point, I've washed off enough speed that I'm confident I can make the turn. I turn, pull it back a gear, and make the rest of the turn. And like, it was messy as hell, but it was kind of like, it worked. And then just on the last lap, I just made sure that I didn't brake as early. I broke last minute and went and predicted the brake fade. And when I hooked it in, like, again, no brakes, but hooked it in, and it took me around the corner. And
awesome.
yeah.
That shockwork stuff is pretty good though.
It is.
And that with some sticky tyres is
Yeah.
tough job. You did well too, because you've never even thrown that around a corner. I
No.
mean, unless you've chucked a car around on a track a bit, you really don't know what it's going to do.
No.
Especially a big wagon like that, where it can be a bit tippy and arse heavy. So it's,
it did really well, and I was pretty happy with the result.
Yeah.
And it surprised a few people. I've got to say, a lot of people loved the sound of it going down the track. Even James Mackey came up and he's just like, that thing sounds amazing going down the track, you know. And when you got guys with some really cool cars that you really respect, you know, coming up and talking about that sort of stuff, that's really cool.
At full noise, it's amazing. You actually get a good V8 noise out of it, which isn't muffled through the turbo. Because usually a lot of turbo V8s are not quite there, but for some reason that still has a great V8 ground.
It's all about the screamer pipe.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah. So then we come back from Optima, had a blast. We had the ute somewhat assembled, and we took that to MotorEx. It was very much a SEMA build.
Yeah.
So we took it to MotorEx. We had a good time at MotorEx, hanging out and with the VPW guys, and had both the Lexon and the ute on the stand at MotorEx, on the VPW stand, and that was really cool. But yeah, the ute didn't have a tail shaft.
No, it was a Bluetooth tail shaft.
Yeah. And we were just pushing it around. It didn't have the intake pipe from the turbo to the,
There's a lot of fake silicon joiners, and I think even the coil packs were just kind of sat on there.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't even, that's right. It had LS1 coil packs on it, and they were just had sleeves showing that the connectors were connecting, because I had the Haltech plugs on them, and the Haltech plugs didn't plug into the LS1 coils, so I would use heat shrink sleeve to make it look like it was connected. But anyway, it looked great on the stand. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people came and took photos. Yeah, it was really good. And then we're back into the Lexon again, where we took it out to Heathcote for a run, drove it up. So we drove it up from here, took it to Heathcote, ran 1068 on its first pass. Then we lost the map line, I think, off it, and we thought we might have heard it. Actually, we were a bit worried that we may have heard it, but it was still, you know, we got it all plugged back in, drove it back here, and it all seemed fine. We even went through and we comp tested the entire car, checked everything. It all seemed fine. And of course, what do you do after you do all that? Throw it back on the dyno, make more horsepower. So we put it back on Zane's dyno, and it made, God, what did it do? 667 horsepower at the tyres. So that's less, obviously, than it shows at Summernats, but, you know, you don't race dynos. You just, every car, you know, at a dyno comp, every car has to sit on the dyno the same day. And same with, you don't compare one workshop's dyno to another. It's just pointless doing that. Always use the same dyno for your testing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, 667 horsepower. That was really good. And
good old Toyota.
Yeah, stock rods, stock crank, stock pistons. It powers along really good. So so we hadn't really taken it back to the track at that point, but we hooked straight into, well, according to this, it was all DC build ute stuff. So
chipping away at it, making it work.
Yeah. Oh, that was June. Look at that. Yeah. So it got real cold in here. that time. It was so cold. Oh my God. So progress actually did slow down there for a couple months. It was a struggle.
We didn't want to leave the office. Like,
No.
The sun comes up over there, and by the time it's actually warmed the workshop, it's about 5 o'clock when the sun's going down. It's so cold in
It
this
was so
workshop.
cold. So yeah, the videos dragged on a little bit there. Not much you can do about that. Sometimes, yeah, when you're freezing in here, you know, we come in. I'd do like 30-minute stabs at it, workout on the car, and then go in and warm up for a little bit, and then, you know, check messages and stuff, and then come back out and do some stuff. But yeah, really.
Yeah, it's cold. I was wearing my PJs under my clothes.
Yeah. I ended up going down to Total Tools and buying one of those Milwaukee battery-powered undershirts to keep me warm because it was just so cold. Hopefully this winter's not that cold, but I don't really actually think that's going to be the case.
Don't want to think about that right now.
Not when it was 41 degrees 2 days ago.
No.
Actually, it was 2 days, or was that yesterday?
Yesterday.
It was yesterday. Yeah, that's right. 41 degrees yesterday. That was hot. So anyway, so we hooked into the DC Ute over winter and got everything sort of done on that. And even sort of did a little bit on Superman. We made Superman come back again. That was actually, gave us a little spike. People were happy to see Superman back. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, Superman, we did a little bit with that as well. And actually this is when we started getting some content from Jay Benz and the crew as well. So Jay Benz and the guys, so Street Machine got bought by the company that owns Summernats. And as part of that, you know, we're part of a much larger family now. And so you've got Jay Benz and guys like that who were doing or are doing, you know, footage for the Summernats channel and were doing stuff for Performance Garage. I don't think they're doing so much for that now, but that's part of the whole deal. But they said, all right, let's start throwing some of our videos on Street Machine TV, and we're like, yeah, let's do it. So they were putting stuff up on Tuesdays. I think that's going to continue into the new year. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Jay Benz has just been on holidays in Japan, so I guess they didn't have anything for us last week. But still, we're going to see some more stuff from those guys, which is great. They went to Rocky Nats and they got some great stuff from there. And then, so we were, instead of just getting one video a week, you guys were getting 2 videos a week, which was great. And then we got the Ute to the point where we were ready to put it on the dyno. So took it over to MPW and finished off some of the last minute fab work, but then got it on the dyno, and wow.
Yeah, it's always nerve-wracking. I mean, you built that engine here, like that's all you, and you know, obviously a lot of people going, oh, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, because it's YouTube. It's always going to happen. I've got my own little channel and I just copy it constantly. You've done this wrong, you're doing this wrong, do it this way. And you know, you can only do so much in so much time with so much budget, but I think that engine has shown that it's pretty bloody good.
I think we've proven that the engine isn't too bad. So a lot of people knocked me for various things I did with the engine during the build, and yeah, well, it's still alive. And yeah, well, we put it on the dyno at MPW. It made 1,129 horsepower at the tyres, which that wasn't too bad.
That wasn't even turned up. That wasn't even trying, was it?
We did not even, like, we got to the point where it blew the intake pipe off, and we just went, you know what? It's making the power that we want. Let's just leave it that. Adam hadn't even put any timing in it or anything like that at that point. So we did that, and then we took the Lexon out to Calder for a run. Adam was like, oh, you should take the Ute out to Calder. I'm like, there's no real point taking the Ute to Calder, you know, because they have struggled with their track prep over, you know, the last part of the year. And then, yeah, we took the Lexon out and run a 10.3.1 at 136 mile an hour, which was good enough to get us kicked out. Like, we didn't officially get kicked out, but
there was eyes.
There was certainly some eyeballs on us, and some not so much finger pointing, but more of a we can see what you're doing there. And yeah, so we ended up, you know, we were also dropping a little bit of fluid on the track. I worked out what that was. It was the oil return from the turbo had developed a leak. Solved that. I'm actually making some changes to the oil system on the Lexon right now. And yeah, we'll take that out again and run a 9 with it. That is, well, that's for later on. Let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1031, 136. It's not bad for a sleeper wagon.
A family wagon. Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, we went from the dyno on the DC ute to then getting ready to actually take out the track. And, well,
Did good.
that did really good. So we took it out to the track, and me and Adam had a good conversation about this before we even started, and that was very much about safety and about doing things the right way and taking the right progression through. We both agreed that we wanted to take it in steps. So the steps were, do a 60-foot launch, make sure nothing's going to break, nothing's going to, because you don't know, the first time you put power into a whole drive line, something could break, anything could happen.
It's all untested.
It'll find the weak spot. And we didn't even know if it was going to launch off to the side or what. As it turns out, it did move towards the centre line a bit. We put a little bit of preload in the anti-roll bar, which made it point down the track for the next run. So the next run we went a half track and rolled across the line for a 9 something, a low 9 something. 950 actually, I think it was,
shutting off
something
the
like
half
that.
track, yeah.
Shutting off the half track, rolling across the line for a 950.
It's pretty wild.
And at that point we're like, this thing's going to go 8s today.
Yeah.
So we go out and do another pass. This one, I went as far as I could. It got to the point where the converter slippage was too high and it was just on the limiter, and I just like, you know, I have to get off this thing, otherwise it's just going to hurt the motor. And so yeah, I get out of it, go around. We got no chute on the car at this point, you know. Just no real safety gear other than, you know, usual fire suit and a hands device and stuff
untested
like
brakes and stuff like
untested brakes. And we went through and did a 887 at 155 mile an hour on basically the first full pass down the track.
That's cool.
Which was pretty amazing. But we did work out that the converter was, the converter had been made for the Mazda, which the Mazda had only had around, 600 rear wheel horsepower, I think, or 650, I think, was the highest we ever saw out of the Mazda with an LS. So the converter wasn't tight enough for an engine with double the power. Yeah. So we put a number converter in it. We rang up Simon at Allfast over there in WA. He makes us another converter, sends it over, and within 2 weeks we're back at the track testing the thing. Get that converter in it, and boom, she goes 852 at 165 mile an hour. That also happened to be a meeting at Heathcote where they were running a muscle car challenge, so we actually got some bracket racing in there as well.
Yeah, it was kind of unplanned, but
it was totally unplanned.
Started racing all of a sudden.
Yeah,
it was cool. It's good.
And we won our first trophy, so we won. We got highest mile an hour for the meeting, which was kind of wild considering you had guys like Steve Athens and Cameron Jones there who had much faster cars, but they were struggling to get down the track, and we come through and do 165 mile an hour and take home the trophy.
But you weren't even trying for that either. I mean, it wasn't like you went out there going, I'm going to go as fast as I can. It was just like, we'll do runs, and all of a sudden you're the quickest.
So yeah, no, that was pretty cool, to run that sort of number. And yeah, anytime you win a trophy, that is cool. It's good fun. We're not trophy hunters, but I'll tell you what, you know, we're competitive. Nice. We're both competitive people.
It's a nice feeling.
We like to go out and have fun and compete. Yep. You know, Matty does his XL racing and that sort of thing, and you know, it just, you know, we are that, but we have fun with it. We're not the, as I describe ourselves, we're not spanner chuckers. We don't go, we don't go to the track and come back to the pits and start throwing things around because you know you're not winning. Yeah. Win or lose, we're having fun at the track, and that's what it's all about, you know.
Absolutely.
So 852, 165, that was pretty cool. We did some more prep on the DC ute. We also did some work on the turbo taxi, trying to get it ready, like building another engine for turbo taxi. And you know, more recently we've put that in. it's almost ready to fire up, but not quite firing up right now. And then, you know, obviously we got the ute ready for Drag Challenge. And Drag Challenge, as much as we had all this time to prepare for it,
So unprepared.
we're still way unprepared.
Woefully unprepared.
Woefully so.
Yeah.
But, you know, we got Tom in here to help me with Drag Challenge itself. Matty, obviously, him and the crew were filming Drag Challenge as a whole and also filming a Carnage episode along the way as well. So those guys were under the pump every night, big long nights, getting videos done every day for Drag Challenge. And then, of course, you know, you got me and Tom going, can you point a camera our way as well? And
You weren't too bad.
no,
You weren't demanding. I made sure I was there when you were doing runs and everything. But
that's it.
Yeah.
So we did pretty good. You know, we come third in our class, 13th overall, which I'm still so surprised about. Like, we're against the toughest street cars in the country, and we finished just outside the top 10. And that just blows me away that we can do that. You know, all those cars in the top 10, they're all either workshop cars or heavily affiliated with workshops.
Yeah.
So there's not many privateers in amongst that group. You know, guys like Adam from MPW, the Dandy Engine Boys, Shane Baker, who's a professional car and engine builder, and then obviously, you know, Chris Carlsberg's one of his made customers as well.
But a lot of those cars, like, they've been developed over years too.
Yeah,
like,
a
you know,
lot
they've
of years.
had so much track time and so much road kilometres. Like, they're dialed in machines.
Yeah,
They're
for
not
sure.
a car that's literally finished and then let's go racing.
Finished by a couple of YouTubers in an amateur workshop, you know. So I know this place looks like a major workshop, but it still isn't really. But no, we were pretty happy with the result, I've got to say.
And I'm stoked you finished because if you watch the videos, after the first video, you were about ready to pack it in. I mean, it's not feeling well and the car had a few problems. It was hot, like in the, at the bend, there's no pits. It's not like Heathcote where you've got shade.
Yeah.
Like nearly everybody is out and you can't really take marquees when you're on Drag Challenge because you've got nowhere to put it. A few people do, but most
Some
people don't.
do, yeah.
And so you're out in the hot sun, you get sunburnt, dehydrated, the cars aren't working, you're feeling sick, and you're just like, if we can't fix this in the next 10 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you didn't because it turned out to be a pretty good result.
It was.
But it was a close call of you
close.
just going. And Tom's missus wasn't well, and it was a whole perfect storm, but you know, you pushed through, and luckily, because it was a wicked end to it. You know,
yeah, nearly didn't go that way, but no, we got there in the end, and big thanks to a couple of guys like Adam Cross from the garage. I think it says garage. Yeah, in South Australia. He went searching for a belt that would work for us, and we drove all the way from South Australia to Heathcote with no power steering, but you know, without that belt, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So, yeah, big shout out to Adam for that. And then, of course, you know, we finished Drag Challenge and, you know, tinker with a few things like taxi and that sort of thing. Wow, look at all the Drag Challenge videos there.
There was a few.
Yep, there sure was. And then that brings us to, I guess, what just happened last weekend, which we're just finishing the video for now, which is the Kenda. You didn't get to go to that.
I didn't get to go. I had my one holiday for the year. So.
Yeah. But Sean come over with me, Sean McCann, and we did Kenda and did, again, amazing result. I didn't expect it. Like I thought, I wanted to tip my toe into the water of the Kenda universe, and just, it looked like a really good meeting. I've watched them for years on the live streams thinking, I want to be part of this. And, you know, to win all our rounds, make it into the final, lose the final by just such a narrow margin. And it's really good. Like the ute, I mean, look at how long the ute's been up and running.
Yeah.
Not that long at all. And we've already, won a trophy for a highest mile an hour, third in our class at DC, now a runner-up at Kenda.
It's pretty good.
Some people go their whole racing careers without winning
won a bloody
a damn thing. Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to
No, that's right, rub it in.
rub that.
Doesn't hurt at all.
No, but yeah, we've done surprisingly well.
Yeah,
it's
been good.
You know, yeah. no, really happy with that. So it's been a pretty amazing year here in the Carnage Workshop. 2024. It's we've had some challenges, personally, professionally. You know, we've had all sorts of, like, because we both got kids and we've got families to deal with and all that sort of stuff. And then, you know, there's always
one of my kids is always bringing something home from daycare.
Yeah.
I'm either sick or the kids are sick. Ugh, 2-year-olds, the worst.
I know, but yeah, we're always battling something here in the workshop, and then of course, you know, there's the big, what is going to happen next year? Well, we know that the lease is paid for the workshop, so that's what we're getting told.
Good.
We're still here.
I like when I heard that.
Yeah. So we're still here. We're still cracking along.
Yep.
So what's going to happen in 2025? Well, the big news. Should I say it? I'll say it. But the big news is we've just bought another Torana. So that Torana that's been sitting up the back there all this time, we've always wanted to do something with it. We bought it during COVID without actually a real clear plan of what we're going to do with it.
Just popped up and went, quick, let's get it.
I really wanted to put the 2JZ in it, but then the 2JZ went into the Trovo. That's how long we've had this thing, since Trovo days. Wow.
It did well in the Trovo though. That's the 1.5J, whatever you want to call it.
The 2J was great in the Trovo.
That's really good.
The Trovo's come home to my place now. I'm going to play with that. But the Torana, you know, once the 2J was out of the question, we explored the option of maybe that 6.4 litre Hemi, which is still sitting up the back there. But that is a big, heavy boat hanger of a motor.
It'd be so nose heavy.
Oh, yeah. So what we're going to do is we've bought a four-door Torana that's rusty, but it's going to be a parts car, because the other problem with that car is it has nothing in it. It's a bare shell. I mean, it's got an engine and box, but it actually has, you know, no windscreens, no dash, no steering column.
Steering column, none of that. Basically no interior at all.
Nothing. You know, it is so stripped out because it was a two-door Torana and a floor shift car. Someone's ratted the entire interior out for their GTR replica. So, you know, we've got to find all these parts. Well, it turns out this car that we're getting is a floor shift car, so we'll get a blank column with that. It is a LJ four-door, I believe. So four-door, four-cylinder, so it'll have the stubby nose, but it'll have a full interior and stuff for us, and a dash and a steering column and all those things. So we can put that Torana together, at least get it registered, and then we can start exploring what engine we put in it. I was looking at a twin turbo 3.5 litre the other day from a F-150. I know that would piss some people off. A twin turbo 3.5 litre from a Ford.
Jeez, they're cooked though.
Oh, those things are 300 kilowatt as
Really?
standard.
Yeah.
They power an F-150 along really well. Can you imagine it in that Torana?
Torana barely weighs 1,000 kilos.
Yeah. Oh, with that engine, I reckon it probably wouldn't even be 1,000 kilos, you know.
Yeah.
What we would like to do with the Torana though is make it like a circuit or hill climb car. So let us know your thoughts. We've got enough drag cars, we think, you know. It'd be nice to do something manual, hill climb or circuit spec.
You're saying all things that make me happy. I like it.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Cool. Would open up a lot of events too.
It would.
It's so much stuff happening, especially in Victoria. We're really lucky in Victoria. We've got a lot of cool motorsport stuff.
Yeah.
And I reckon, we've got Haunted Hills there for hill climb. What a cool little track. If no one's seen it, it's like a mini Bathurst. It's such a cool little place.
No, we've been there a couple of times and we had a lot of good fun there.
It's so good.
So it would be cool, and it's not far from my place either.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So that would be cool. So yeah, Torana, it's definitely going to be a big part of our 2025 builds. Supermang is definitely making a big comeback because we've got that stroker motor. Yep. We definitely want to make Supermang get back into the mix, make it faster, turbo, street car, but faster. I mean, we want to have, you know, like, it is a cool car. And VPW have some very cool products coming along, so we'd like to get some of those on Supermang.
That'd be cool.
Turbo Taxi. We like.
Will it do a 10?
I kind of promised that Turbo Taxi would do a 10 this year, and I'm going to have to break that promise. I don't break many promises, I've got to say, but we tend to deliver every time. But Turbo Taxi is the one thing we have not delivered on yet. And
How many cars have done 10s before taxi now?
I know.
We could almost do a T-shirt with a list of the cars that have done 10 before taxi.
10s before taxi.
Poor
yeah.
thing.
Yep. So, but taxi is definitely going to be a next year thing. I've got some thoughts. I've even got a thought of how we could keep it LPG for a while.
Oh God.
I know. I had a thought about that the other day, but I'll talk to Jason about that and see if if he's keen and if that's something we can do. But I think it might solve our problems with gas, but we need to talk about that. So obviously, yeah. So what's that? Tirana, Superman, taxi,
Yep.
Ute. We're going to do some more stuff with. Obviously, we want to run sevens with
Be
it.
cool to turn it up and see what it can actually do.
Yep, turn it up, run sevens. We might take it up north for that, up to at least Sydney, and take it, whether it's a Kenda event or whether it's one of the other cool events they have up in Sydney, because we are IHRA licensed now, so the car's teched. I'm licensed,
Awesome.
so we can race that at proper racetracks.
Yeah.
Not to say that we don't have some proper
No, we've got
racetracks.
some
I
racing
don't want
racetracks,
to offend anyone, but sometimes, we want to go to a racetrack and where we're not always licensed and teched for. So now we can do that. So let's go to a racetrack where we can do that, and maybe run a 7-second pass.
It'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Yep.
We're going to run 9s with the Lexon. We're going to take it out, try and run a 9-second pass with a Lexon. But after it runs 9s, it's kind of...
It's kind of done. It's done everything we asked of it.
It is. And while I would love to keep them all, I don't think we can. Well, I mean,
Something's got to go.
yeah, we don't have a massive amount of space to just store old projects. We're not like Cletus, where he's got a whole barn full of old projects that he can just drag out at any time and revisit. And that's the thing, the fans love these cars so much, and we love them. We literally, blood, sweat and tears over these things, and then the fans obviously love them. If anyone saw what Cletus did with Mullet recently, and then the fan backlash on that, you can understand. The fans really love these cars, and they get so attached to them, and it hurts us that we've had to sell a couple of our cars over the years. Mr. Dodgy's gone, Trollbo's obviously gone, the MX-5 has gone. Just purely because we don't have the room to store these things around in the workshop.
It's already like the move of the castle. Like, we need to get one car out. We're going to move, got to move the Tirana and the VS Commodore and all this out onto the street to get this one out, and then you have to shuffle them all back in. And
yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and taxi doesn't want to start because the key doesn't work, and then everything on E85 doesn't want a cold start. So it's already a bloody mission. So
cold start in the E85. Yeah, it's always fun. So we the Lexon might get moved on.
Absolutely.
Next year. The Ute might even at some point. Like we got some time for the Ute, but after it runs 7s, it's kind of like, where do we go after it runs 7s?
Move it on, something new.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we would love to campaign it a bit more, but obviously, Street Machine's not just going to pay me to go and race the car at multiple events. It costs us thousands of dollars to race every time we do, because trailers and hotels and fuel and food, and no one ever considers these things, that when you're racing these things, you spend a lot of money before you even get to the track.
Yep, and we need to film it too. So
and we got to film it.
Pay the camera guy, got to feed him, and all that stuff as well.
All that stuff. It all costs money.
Yep.
So if you think there's a major project that we're ignoring, let us know, because we'd love to know what your thoughts are. What should we build? But let's make it a sensible suggestion. Some obscure diesel engine in a Lada Niva is not going to get past the keepers. So.
Oh, I'd still like to stick a weird engine in a Niva. I think it'd be a cool build.
Dirty secret is we used to own a Lada Niva, me and my wife. They were fun days. But anyway, lots to do, lots coming up in 2025, and you're going to see it all on future episodes of Carnage.